Hello, everybody. It's Pastor Aaron, Grace and Truth Church of Dunbar. Jesus kind of gives us, he gives us the answer to breaking the chains of sin in our life. That's the purpose. John said that in First John. He said that Jesus came to destroy the works of the devil. Sin in our lives, being bound, like chained to something. Picture a chain to a wall and you're shackled, you're a slave, you're bound. So Jesus gave us a really simple, straightforward, factual truth about breaking the chains of sin. And you find it in John chapter 8. And I want to read that to you for someone who might need this, because, you know, the walk of a Christian is that we want forgiveness of sin because we're not interested in the world of the devil or sin. We want salvation. And salvation means you want God and you want delivered from sinful lifestyles, from the devil's hands, from all the darkness, the kingdom of darkness. You want deliverance from that. You have an awareness and an awakening in your life, and you realize that you want to be with the Creator, who is the kingdom of heaven, who is light, and you know that you are not that, and you humbly say, I need you. And then you accept this free gift of salvation. But that means you don't want to keep a connection, a chain to a wall, to Satan and to sinful lifestyles. Now, word of caution, there are some that may misrepresent the gospel and may say that God created you that way and will encourage continuing to be chained to sin, immorality. That's kind of popular trending. And then there's light versions of that where they will say, well, let's don't say anything. Because we want to build a popular church with a lot of flashing lights and smokes and mirrors and get the tithe money up. And I believe in tithing in its proper context. But what I'm saying is sometimes the vision of building the business of the church is to not preach the gospel, because some people may be offended who are enjoying certain sinful lifestyles. But the true Christian message is Jesus came to deliver us out of, for example, Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt. Okay, it was not a mediocre, some of them wanted to stay, right? The angel led Lot and his family out of Sodom. Said, don't look back. Now his wife looked back, and that was detrimental to her existence. But you see a consistent pattern of deliverance out of the world or deliverance out of sin. So Jesus come to forgive us of those errors of our lives, and then he gives us the answer on how to break that cycle, how to be delivered from the sin. And you find that in John chapter 8:31. And I'm going to read a couple verses after that. But let me share this with you. And you've heard this saying, right? So Jesus was saying to those Jews who did believe in him, if, you ever seen those contingencies of the word? A lot of churches really don't point out those contingencies, but often you see the if clause. Jesus says, if you continue in my word, then you truly are my disciples. And you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's the clue right there. That's the truth. That's the answer. Is if you really do love Jesus, then you're going to continue in his word, like you every day. You desire it, you hunger for it. And we've talked about that in Sunday church yesterday, about God's words in us. But continuing to have God's words flowing in you, you are truly God's disciples if you keep God's words. I mean, if you was to follow, like I've studied martial arts, when you have training, you keep the words of your trainer. If you're a boxer, if you truly are a disciple of a certain, you keep the words, you take it to heart, things that teach you about blocks and things. So if you truly are a disciple of Jesus, then your interest is to truly keep his words. I mean, that's a pretty much a common thing, but it will set you free. But then the Jews responded and said, uh, look, man, we're Abraham's descendants and have never been enslaved in anyone or to anyone. How is it that you say you will become free? And I find that interesting that they said they've never, Abraham's descendants, we've never been enslaved to anyone. Wow, that's a newsflash. Abraham's descendants was never enslaved? Wow. Are they being honest? I'll move on from that point. So they say, how do you say we will be free? And then Jesus said, truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who commits sin is a slave of sin. So he says, if you keep my word, you are my disciple and you will know the truth and it will set you free. And he immediately goes in and answers. They said, we're not slaves. He goes, but if you commit a sin, you are a slave to sin. So there's the truth, is God's word is the answer to breaking the cycle, the chains of slavery. And Paul, if you read in Romans and other places, Corinthians, often there's a conversation of you're no longer a slave to sin. So spending time in God's words, that is the key. It's hard to break the cycle of sin without God. If you've been around any kind of recovery ministry, you know that it's God that gives you the power to break the cycle of addiction, which is a chain to sin, like I described earlier. But any sin is that continual relationship with God and letting his words fill you is the key to truth and to the power to break sin. It's the power of the gospel. And the big part of that is God's own words constantly filling you. And that's the good news. God bless. I'm Pastor Aaron of Grace and Truth Church in Dunbar. And guys, just want to share with you that we meet on Sundays, 10 a.m. You're welcome to meet us. Join us. We have a good time.